Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a different sort of process video for you today. I'm going to be altering some pages in a National Geographic magazine with some Citrasolv. This is an degreaser. You need the one that is concentrated, so not the one in the spray bottle. You need this one, and this really only works with National Geographic magazines. There's something about the way that they're printed that you can kind of manipulate the ink and stuff. So I have my Citrasolv here. I have a little bucket off to the side. I'm going to be pouring that in. I'm going to be using a paintbrush. Some people will just sprinkle it on or spray it with a spray bottle. I'm going to be using a paintbrush. And then I have some gloves because this can get a little messy. Also, I'm obviously working outside, so if you hear a lot of traffic and things, that's what that's from. So I'm just going to put my gloves on here. And one of the things that I have already done is I've kind of taken out the little subscription card pieces from the inside of the magazines, the little paper things. And some of the pages work better than others. You know, if there's a lot of typography, they don't work as well as the ones that are just pictures. So we're just gonna go through here and get started. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour this in this old bucket here. I think it'll just make it easier to do. And you do need quite a bit for one magazine, so because you really got to kind of slop it on there. I'm just going to put that off to the side though. And I'm going to start from the back. Some of the like advertisement pages are not necessarily the best ones, but you know, even here where there's just some, I'm just going to kind of just some color. This one would probably be good. There's a lot of interesting colors. You can see it's already like activating the ink here. And it's pretty warm today, so I'm going to kind of work quickly because I don't want these drying before I get to them. Maybe oversaturating this a little bit. This brush kind of holds on to the I don't know how this one will do since it's kind of a little bit lighter. This one might be neat. Seems like the ones that are like darker do a little bit better. But we'll see. So I'm just going to go through here and saturate all of these pages. I kind of want to get to some that are, so you can kind of see like these. But this one is going to be really cool because it's got a little like flip out section. And also, I'm sorry if this is kind of wobbly. I think I'm working on a wobbly table. So I'm going to do this whole flip out and then close it back in on itself. There's my neighbors. Ooh, this one will be cool. I think this is another one that's got a flip out. So we'll do this too. I can tell, I think I'm getting a little bit too much of this Citrasolv. So I'm just gonna go through here and like all the flip out pages. I'm gonna do, you know, both sides and whatever. And then I'm gonna let this sit for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes before, just to really let this Citrasolv react with all these pictures. I really feel like these ones with the deep colors are going to be the most interesting, but we'll see. And don't worry about it like if it's a person or whatever, because it's just all the ink is going to move. That was kind of gross, but and again, you could, you know, if you spritz this on, you get kind of a different, some people even kind of like dribble it on there. I'm gonna just, for the sake of argument, I'm gonna go ahead and just keep doing what I'm doing. And this is like a non-toxic thing. This is made from like essential oils, natural oils and stuff. So it's just, I'm doing it outside because I'm hoping that it will dry a little bit faster. And also because, I mean, it is a pretty concentrated orange smell. So not that it's bad, it's just is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish doing this. I'm gonna let this sit for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I will come back when I start pulling the pages apart. Okay, so it's only been a couple minutes, but I just wanted to show you, you can kind of see how everything is already starting to kind of react on the pages. I think, like I said, I may have oversaturated just a little bit, but you can see how things are, and you can like actually move some of the ink around at this point. So you can even kind of manipulate this a little bit and get some effects. I'm gonna let this dry just a few more minutes before I start really doing anything to the pages, just to really let the inks start moving. I even did a little bit on the front here just to kind of see if I could make anything happen with the cover. And you can see some of the ink is moving, but not all of it, and that's probably just because it's the cover, so it's probably printed a little bit, but I still might be able to get some interesting things happening here. So I just wanted to share you just a little bit of process. I guess you can't really see. A little bit of the process on the way through, and then I'm gonna let this sit for a few more minutes before I really start pulling the pages apart. Okay, so it's been, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, and I have my, this is the first one I did. You could see I was kind of playing with the cover as it was drying, and I'm gonna start at the back because that's where I started with the, with applying the Citrasolv. And you can see like at the back, you can see kind of some of these moving, but what you can do with them while they're still kind of wet is you can sort of wiggle them. You can kind of push them together and pull them apart, and they will like make, I don't really feel like this one is doing much. Maybe that's just, this one definitely did. I don't know if that's just a difference in the paper or, but you can see, and you can kind of, you know, smear them. You can, I feel like there's actually two here. I just can't get it apart. So one thing is you don't want them to dry stuck together. Yeah, there's, you can kind of push them together and kind of manipulate them while they're all still wet. And that's actually kind of what you want to do to sort of get some of these things kind of moving. And I'm gonna, you can even see like on the back, this is, there's text underneath it there, but so I'm just gonna go through here, and I still can't get that one to really move. That's okay. And just kind of pull these apart and let them do what they're going to do. And then like where there's writing, you can even just kind of go in there, and if you don't want to see the letters, just kind of mush it out. There's a person if you don't want an image there. Again, I think maybe that is so cool. Perhaps got a little carried away with the Citrasolv, but that's okay. These will dry. So I'm just gonna pull these apart. You can see it's already dissolved basically a lot of the adhesive and stuff from the magazine. So it's just a matter of kind of pulling the pages apart, and I'm just feeling kind of fumbly at the moment. And then again, you know, where you can see that the ink is starting to move, but it's not, you know, you just kind of go in there, and you can even, like, to this extent if you were really this concerned about it. And then it's really just kind of the effect that you're wanting, and then you get different things. So then I'm just going to kind of set these all over to dry. I won't make you watch me do this. This process is obviously messy. I have gloves on, and I'm just going to kind of lay these out. I'm working outside, so I'm hoping these will dry a little bit quicker, which is why I did not do it inside. I don't really mind the citrus smell. I just don't want the, I just wanted them to be able to dry a little bit quicker. And even like where you're kind of pulling them apart from each other, as you're pulling them, they leave really interesting designs and textures. So I'm just going to go through and do this, and then when I am done and they have dried, I will come back. This one you can see is already drying. You can kind of tell the difference. So I just think those are so cool. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these apart really quick. Once they're all dry, I'll come back on and I'll show you everything that got done today. Okay, it has been a couple hours. I just left my pages to dry. I left them outside for a little while, and then I had to bring them in, and I just laid them out, but it didn't really take all that long to dry. I actually did 2 separate magazines, and so one of the magazines you saw on camera where I was applying the Citrasolv with the paintbrush. The other one I kind of drizzled it on, as I had seen somebody else do in a YouTube video years ago. I kind of personally liked the paintbrush. It was just, I felt like I had a little bit more control, and I think I got better results. I like the results that I got better out of the one where I had used the paintbrush. So I just want to flip through here just for a couple of these pages. These are, again, the ones that were done where I just applied it. I just kind of stuck my finger over the hole and kind of sprinkled it. And I don't think I got as much movement out of some of the ink. This is one of the ones that folded out. So I'm not going to show all of them. These are just kind of a few of my favorites. And keep in mind, you know, some of them turn out and some of them don't. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it. Some of them, like, I'll be able to take bits and pieces of them. I really like all the colors down in here. So, and again, these are the ones, and like there's, you know, some that have text. It even just leaves a neat background in there. So these make good things that you can use for collage and all kinds of things. And it really depends on, you know, what the picture was, how long the Citrasolv was sitting on there. Like you can see this is more kind of splotchy here. And then like when you're pulling them apart, it kind of lifts up some of them as well. So here's some, like this had some lights in. I love how that kind of looked in the background there. And even, like I said, even the text, you know, is just interesting, I think. And, you know, some of it is legible and some of it's not. I really wished more, I had gotten more movement on these because I think this blue would have been really pretty. I think I just didn't have enough Citrasolv on there. At first I thought I was applying too much. I really like how this turned out. At first I thought I was applying a little bit too much to the pages. But then after looking at this one, I kind of feel like this actually ended up being one of my favorite ones, because you can see this person kind of walking, and there's just a little bit of a cityscape in the background, and then you have all this kind of interesting stuff happening around it. So anyway, this was like a map of a city. You can kind of see, you know, some of it still in there, but then you have, so they're just, what I love about it is they're, you know, they're all going to be different. No two will ever be the same. Even if I had this same exact magazine and, you know, the same exact edition, I would not get the same exact results. And that's what I love. I love the color on this one right here through all of that. So, you know, and like I said, you'll have some pages that don't really turn out. So I'm kind of getting into those right now. This was actually a fold out that I was really hoping was going to work. but it ended up just being really kind of dark, but I think I can still salvage it. I might even save it and try and do something to it again. But then, like, I have these. This is literally just all text, but it still has some of that transfer of the ink on it. And so still will be really good in collage. These didn't really turn out as well. So that's just, you know, it's just kind of part of the process. You'll have some that turn out really well. This one is kind of neat. I love the license plate down there. So just kind of show you a little bit. Some of them just dissolved a little bit better than others, and I think a lot of that had to do with, in this particular one, with the fact that I was sprinkling it instead of brushing it on. So this is the magazine where I brushed it, and like I was saying earlier, I felt at the time like I was really putting on too much, and I don't really know how much is too much. You just kind of have to get a feel for it. It's hard to explain. You just kind of slap it on there, but I feel like I got better movement. One thing I will say is I tried to do both of these at the same time, and I really would not suggest doing that, because by the time I got back to this one to kind of pull the pages, these were already kind of drying, and it just made it harder to pull the pages apart and everything. So I would just kind of stick to one, and then, you know, and then pull all the pages apart, and then maybe do the other one. So that was just kind of me being a little overzealous. But these are some of my favorite pages that came out of this particular one. Some of them, it's just going to be so hard to pick which side I like better. I love this one. There's even a little bit of lettering still in it, and I even love what it did on the background, on the back with the text. And this green one, and you can see down here, you know, still have some of the print. This one is another one that I love how this one turned out. And I love it on this side. The only thing with this one is there's a little bit of text still showing through, but I think you could like collage around it and it would still be pretty awesome. I love the like purple into teal, these colors. I just think that turned out so neat. And then this one, this is another one where you can still see some of the lettering. And then you can kind of see what it does to the text on the back. But these are some of my favorite ones out of this particular magazine, and then I'll show you kind of some less successful ones. I love these colors. This was like a really bright green one, and it's interesting, it didn't do anything to the back. So I love how this one turned out as well. And again, this really only works with National Geographic magazines as far as I have ever known or seen. It's something about the way that their ink is with their printing process. So this one is probably one of my favorites as well. It's going to be hard to know which side to use. Okay, so I sped this part up just a little bit because it's just more of the same. Just kind of looking at some of these other prints. Some of these were just a little bit less successful than like my favorite ones. You can see I have a little smear here. I can, you know, trim those out, but I just wanted kind of to flip through and show, you know, even though they're not perfect or maybe not as dissolved as I would want them to be, I still feel like there are bits and pieces that I can use from all of these pages. And so I'll be using them like in art journals, I'll be using them in collage, I'll be using them in some junk journals that I am planning to make. So and one magazine really gives you kind of a lot of pages, especially if you're thinking in terms of like using them for collage or, you know, tearing them up and making them into smaller. There's really a lot of real estate here, just out of one National Geographic magazine. So this is just a lot of fun to do, and there's, you know, so many different techniques, so many different results that you get out of, you know, just depending on how you apply the Citrasolv, how long you let it sit on there, the temperature that it is outside. I feel like maybe mine was drying just a little bit too fast. It was pretty warm today. And so I plan on doing another one of these where I'm actually going to try it with spraying it through a spray bottle just to see, because I think you get like a more pebbly effect when you do it that way. And so, but even these pages here that are, you know, not necessarily pictures or whatever, I could still use for collage because I love the way that the text looks. And then I have these others that just, you know, these didn't really turn out all that well. So I'm just going to kind of finish flipping through the last of these, but if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. That just helps other people find my channel. It helps the little YouTube algorithm or whatever. So I would really appreciate that. And then subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when I post new videos. And until next time, bye.